Hello, fellow members of the Midnight Society. Welcome back to another episode review from the show Are You Afraid of the Dark? Last time, we covered the tale of the Misfortune Cookie, an Andy story about a magic fortune cookie that teaches a teen boy a lesson about family. Tonight's narrative, from Megan, is about two brothers that think a couple of cannibals have moved in next door. You know how kids do. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this Season 6, Episode 6, The Tale of the Gruesome Gourmets. We open on Megan setting up a dinner table at the campfire. I assume she hired the same movers that brought the couch from the dump to lug her folding table through the woods. She says that there is something that everyone does, and that's eat. She says that some people think that eating is the most important thing there is, to which Quinn says,
and those people are called chubsters.
All right, fat jokes right out the gate. If this turns into the return of the teacher from the Tale of the Dream Machine, I'm out.
The ghost of Lime Hall was creeping closer and closer.
Megan says she's talking about people who are very picky about what they eat. She says they love a certain type of food so much that they'll do anything to get it. Okay. Now, I'm smelling what she's cooking, right? She's talking about Sponge from the Tale of the Hatching.
Sponge? Like what you clean with?
No, sponge with the U. It's great, try it.
Megan is not talking about Sponge. It's not her fault, don't hold it against her, it's from before her time. The tale begins on someone sneaking into a boy's room while he's sleeping. The room looks to contain part of the train set from the Tale of Train Magic. The person sneaking into the room has a bucket of water and does this. First off, damn you for turning me into that guy so early in the episode, but I can't let it go. The hand in the warm water to make a sleeping person pee is a popular prank in movies and television. Supposedly, the warm water on the skin tricks the brain into sending a signal to the nervous system that releases the bladder. Were it to work, it wouldn't be instant like it is here, but this was tested on Mythbusters and all it actually did was wake people up. So the next time you decide to open your f***ing mouth at a kid's campfire, Megan, do your damn research. I'm sorry. That was aggressive. I haven't eaten today, and as a result, I'm just in a bit of a bad mood, okay? Which brings me to my next point. A whole bucket of water on a mattress? That isn't funny. That's a health hazard. That's how you get mold. That whole mattress has to be replaced now. I already hate this kid. I really do.
Gee, thanks for helping.
These two brothers are our main characters. The bedwetter is Tommy, and his younger brother is Assface. No, wait, I read that wrong. His name is David. Downstairs, Tommy attempts to murder David. Sorry, it's not murder. I believe the legal term is justifiable homicide, but his mother stops him because...
I don't have time for natural disasters this morning. New tenants are moving in today. Make sure they get the keys.
So she's renting out a house or an apartment, but she has to be somewhere else so that Tommy has to give the keys to the tenants? I don't know why I'm still surprised at how bad Are You Afraid of the Dark adults are at being parents, but I am. Look at the breakfast she prepared them. A glass of OJ and 2 slices of bread. Not toast, bread. We see David take a bite and there's nothing toasted about it. If you're going to be that lazy, just leave a box of corn wackies on the table and let them serve themselves.
Introducing Corn Wackies, the breakfast cereal that's made from corn, but it's so wacky that each box comes with a full cob of corn. That's right, I'm talking about corny cob here. And don't worry kids, that corn is injected, infused, soaked, coated, and sprinkled with high fructose corn syrup. Part of a complete breakfast. The small part, Corn Wackies.
Anyway, she reveals that a babysitter is on the way, and David is not happy about it.
Oh, we don't need a babysitter.
That's like saying a zoo doesn't need cages.
So, you trust them enough to give house keys to a new tenant, but not to watch themselves for a few hours? Yeah, that makes sense. I would think the order of operations would be you mature enough to stay home alone, and then you gain real estate responsibilities. Anyway, she leaves and Tommy attempts to kill David once more, though he doesn't succeed since we see David trying to sneak away on his bike later that morning. Tommy tells David that he can't leave and shows that he has David's bike helmet. And if we know anything about bratty kids that dump buckets of water on their siblings in bed, it's that they follow all basic bike riding safety laws. So he attempts to get his helmet back, resulting in...
Hi, guys! Hey, what happened?
What do you mean, what happened? Did you not feel the impact of the car running over the bike? Also, the driver looks at the bike like it just appeared there after he parked. How did you not see it?
Driveways are for cars, not bikes.
Right, and Biff here drives based on assumptions. He doesn't use his eyes. Anyway, the girl dressed like she's the teen version of Jed's mom from The Tale of the Full Moon is Candy, the babysitter, and the driver of the car, who speaks like he's delivering smack talk for the WWE, is her boyfriend Chuck.
You're gonna pay for this, pork chop. Because if you don't, I'm gonna burn you like toast!
Chuck and Candy head inside. While David complains that Tommy didn't help him against Chuck, the new tenants arrive.
This is Mr. Pym.
And this is Mr. Collins. We're your new neighbors.
Well, they're evil. But I'm sorry, but if a couple is overly cheery and speaks in unison, they're hiding something, and that something is a large kitchen filled with skin suits. Look, maybe I'm overreacting, okay? I mean, these guys seem like friendly enough fellows.
By the way, we're interviewing housekeepers this afternoon. Would you boys be lambs and send them directly to us?
Nope. Housekeeper my ass. These two serial killers put an ad in the paper to bring their victims directly to them. Which is... it's pretty clever when you think about it. Anyway, later, Tommy asked David how he's going to get the money to fix Chuck's car, which looked perfectly fine, by the way. And David says that he plans to fix his bike and sell it. Fix it? Look at that rim! Unless you've got a welding torch, you ain't fixing shit. Alright, here's what you need to do. Have Tommy distract Chuck while you pick his pocket and then pay him from his own money.
You got it.
A moving truck arrives outside. The boys greet the driver who tells them that he's dropping off for Pym and Collins. Tommy says that they're their new tenants and the driver responds,
They invite you for dinner yet?
No.
They will.
How many times have you moved these two that you know their murder habits? I'm sorry, their dining habits. Anyway, we cut to a montage of the boys fixing the bike, and we get some voiceover from Megan explaining that people started to arrive to interview for the housekeeper position. We see a handful of people come and go, looking very sad upon leaving. As the montage ends, the bike appears to be fixed, and David goes to ride it. What? I would like to draw your attention to Exhibit A. This is the first shot of them fixing the bike. Despite starting the episode covered, here the top bar of the bike frame is exposed and fine. In fact, it's exposed and fine in the first 3 shots of the montage. It isn't until the boys are back outside that suddenly this bar has the foam cylinder from its first appearance wrapped back around it. This is also conveniently the section where the bike breaks. Did the boys cut through the bar off screen and then duct tape it back together and put the foam around it? Or did the filmmakers just need to cover up the pre-broken section of the bike so that it could fall apart on camera? And since it was definitely the latter, why didn't they just leave that thing on there the whole time? Having it missing definitely drew my eye to that section when it returned and sort of removed the surprise when the bike fell apart. Anyway, right after it splits in twain, this caricature of a human being arrives. He heads in to interview, and moments later, when he hasn't come back out, the boys head in to find out what happened. David wants to go see what happened, but Tommy says it's not their business. What? If you hear a person scream like that, I'm fairly certain it makes it your business. Not my business. They're killing me. You know what? It's probably just figurative. They're killing them with laughter. They pinned me on a meat hook and are cutting away chunks of my flesh to cook in a giant pot. It's probably just some kind of a, sick prank. This is not a joke. I definitely need help. That's exactly the kind of thing a practical joker would say. Later, the boys are back outside when this happens.
Hello.
What is going on? First Candy, and now this lady. Pick a style. If you want the 50s aesthetic, then have everyone in it. I was annoyed by this in The Tale of the Full Moon, and I'm annoyed by it here. The boys tell the woman that a man went up yesterday and didn't come back down, so he must have gotten the job, to which she asks if he was a rather large individual, resulting in our second fat joke of the episode.
You mean Tubby? Yeah, about like you.
Oh, yummy! Absolutely yummy!
Oh, okay. Now, I know what's going on here. This is just your average cannibal supper club. Though, I do have some objections about their desires for a large person. I mean, yes, in the culinary world, fat means flavor, but there is such a thing as too much fat. Personally, I want my cuts of human to have some good marbling throughout. You don't want them too fit, because then the meat is stringy or gamey, but, too much gristle and fat just makes for a bad mouthfeel. So I've heard. No, what you want is someone like me. I'd be a prime cut. A good balance of muscle and fat. I'd be so delicious. That being said, I'm not offering myself for meals. I realize I just oversold myself in a market that I don't want to be in. So if any cannibals try to eat me, I'm not going to let you. Anyway, the boys follow the lady expecting to hear another scream when she enters Pim and Colin's apartment, but instead... The boys then get surprised by Chuck.
Now, if you don't come up with the cash by Friday, you're toast. You got it?
I hope he gets in the face with a rusty screwdriver. I really do. Anyway, having heard the exchange, Pim and Collins say...
Toast?
A tasty idea.
Oh my god, if Pim and Collins kill Chuck, this whole episode will be totally worth it in my eyes. Anyway, David is convinced that something weird is going on in Pim and Collins' apartment, so he spies on them, proving that he has a fundamental lack of understanding about how binoculars work. Binoculars are for distance. If you're just outside a window, using binoculars is not going to help you see inside. If anything, it would make it worse because you'd be so zoomed in you wouldn't be able to determine what you're looking at. In any event, David sees... What? They say that a camera adds 10 pounds. Do binoculars add 500 pounds? Because that man was not remotely big enough for his shirt to be a tablecloth for a table of that size. Maybe they did like an Alice in Wonderland eat me, drink me situation and it made that guy as big as a house, which is why he screamed. That's a lot of meats. But anyway, Pim and Collins hear David outside and investigate, wearing gigantic bibs that look like the excited lady's dress. They invite David in for dinner, but he panics and runs off. Later, David sneaks into their apartment to get a closer look at the tablecloth and napkins, which only furthers his suspicions. While he's snooping, Collins calls out, and David hides in the walk-in freezer, only to discover... This all turns out to be a nightmare, but it has David convinced that his neighbors are cannibals. I see we're dusting off the "my neighbors did a thing in my dream, so they must be a monster in real life" that was used in the Tale of the Nightly Neighbors. Anyway, David wakes up from his nightmare as follows.
You better scream, Toast Boy, because by tomorrow, you gotta come up with $200.
What was this psycho doing in the boys' bedroom first thing in the morning? He's not even their babysitter. He's just the boyfriend of the babysitter. Megan, if this guy doesn't die in this story, you're permanently on my list. Anyway, David has a plan that Tommy reluctantly goes along with.
Look, all we gotta do is find proof they're cannibals, take it to the police, and collect a big reward.
Pim and Collins head out, and what they discuss on the way doesn't help alleviate the boys' suspicions.
They've gotten rather suspicious.
Well, if they discover our secret, we'll just have to have them for dinner.
Agreed.
As what, appetizers? They might be big enough for an amuse-bouche, but they're hardly going to be satiating. With the renters gone, the boys sneak into the apartment. Unbeknownst to them, Chuck is magically here again and props a chair against the door to trap them inside. While they're in there, the boys discover some sinister-sounding cookbooks.
How to serve 6 people, trim the fat off your man, The Carnivore's Guide to Picking the Right Cut of Meat?
I feel like that first book is an homage to the classic Twilight Zone episode where aliens come to Earth. They have a book that's titled How to Serve Man, and humanity doesn't discover it's a cookbook until it's too late.
Don't get on that ship! The rest of the book, To Serve Man, it's a cookbook!
The boys also discover some jewelry stashed in a book and assume it's from the cannibals' victims. They investigate the freezer. They don't find bodies, but they do find
Franks and beans, steak Diane, Virginia ham, hamburger patty, head cheese.
Okay, I have to take a moment to discuss this freezer. Why does a residential property located on the second floor have an industrial-sized walk-in freezer? I ignored it before because it was part of a dream sequence, but it actually exists and makes no sense. Anyway, the boys discover the larger man's striped shirt inside with the back missing and freak out. They try to leave the apartment but find that they're locked in. Meanwhile, Collins and Pym are on their way back upstairs lugging a very large package with them. The boys hear them and put the world's tiniest table in front of the door and then try to find a way out. The gourmets try to enter and do some serious acting to pretend that this tiny table is impeding them. The boys hide in the freezer again, but it seems like Pym and Collins know they were in the apartment. Candy finds out that Chuck locked them inside and goes upstairs to get them, resulting in...
I'm Candy, the boys' babysitter. I hope they're not being pains.
Candy, how sweet.
Won't you come in?
Candy, get out! Get out now!
Stay here while I straighten this out.
So Candy doesn't get out. She goes inside, but it's obvious that she's uncomfortable.
You know, I don't really like cider.
Pineapple cider? Look, I like cider as much as the next guy, but something about hot, spiced pineapple juice just sounds disgusting. The boys burst out of the freezer to rescue Candy. They throw down a bucket of incredibly plastic-looking ice cubes, causing this to happen. What are they slipping on? The cubes are too big to step on, and they're fresh from the freezer, so they're not leaving water on the floor. What is this episode? We transition to David trying to convince his mother that their tenants are cannibals, but Pym and Collins have an explanation for everything.
But we heard that guy scream, and then he disappeared.
Yes, he took one look at that filthy stack of pots
And fainted. He left after he came to.
So he fainted and left without his shirt? That doesn't track, and the boys don't even bring it up.
How about the lady in the polka dot dress? You made napkins out of her clothes.
Am I late for dinner?
Not at all.
I brought you another present.
Aprons!
I mean, considering that I'm certain she's in on it, this doesn't help their case.
What's the deal with the cider?
Oh, you mean our famous pineapple cider?
I just bought some. It's delicious.
So your mom bought a bottle of cider that still doesn't clear anything up. When they made that cider for Candy, there were 2 separate liquids they put in that cup. Unfortunately for this family, that's where the investigation stops. The boys apologize for the cannibal accusations, and Pym and Collins reveal that the large item they were bringing inside is a new bike for David. To show that there are no hard feelings, Pym and Collins invite the family for dinner.
We even had special placemats made.
We're cooking up something extra special.
Chuck steak!
I mean, if you're gonna have cannibal neighbors, you'd want them to like you and only cook your enemies. Considering that Chuck was a tool, I'd say him being on the menu makes this a happy ending.
How lovely!
Back at the Midnight Society, everyone else is looking sickened by Megan's story. She breaks out a sandwich filled with meats, and when asked what it is, she says,
It's tongue.
"Masterfully played, Megan. Masterfully played."
Bon appetit.
Now for the review. I have never been more torn on an episode in my life. I like the premise, but the acting and costuming are all over the place. As an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? I hate it. But for the sheer entertainment value, I kinda love it.
This is a pickle.
The settings were okay. I did like the apartment rented by Pym and Collins, even if I found it illogical, but as per usual, we spend very little time there, and the rest of the time we're either outside or in the boys' house, which is pretty bland.
Why is the kitchen so important?
The story. I have no real issues with the story. Possible cannibal neighbors move in next door and the brothers try to prove it. It's just the plot from the Tale of the Nightly Neighbors, but more silly. Even down to the kind of fake out with the twist, the fake out of like, oh, they're not actually monsters, and then the twist that they actually are. What makes this episode problematic is the execution. Everything is portrayed over the top silly, but I completely understand why. I guarantee when a writer proposed cannibals for a story, someone was like, on a kid's show? I promise you, the only way a cannibal story was approved was if it was made extremely campy, which explains the flamboyant villains and the ending that's left a little bit open to interpretation, though my interpretation is that they were definitely cannibals.
Oh, that isn't necessary.
The scares. I would say that the only scare in the episode is when David finds the bodies in the freezer, which is made moot shortly after when it's revealed to be a dream. The episode had a lot of room for scares, but as I stipulated previously, I'm certain they weren't allowed to make it too scary because of the subject matter. I mean, it's one thing for a monster to eat people, but it's a different thing entirely for people to eat people because that's something that exists in real life. The acting in this episode was wild. Half the cast feels like they're in a different episode than the other half. Chuck and Candy are from one episode, and, they're both great at playing characters, not real people. Tommy and David are from the other episode, playing the Abbott to Chuck and Candy's Costello. Tommy is fine, if a little boring, but that's not the actor's fault, it's just the way the character was written. While David is also on the straight side of things, he gets to be more over the top since he becomes unhinged as his investigation unfolds. He's a little wooden at times, but solid enough for most of it.
Thank you!
The adult acting in this episode is the same as the child acting. The mother is from the same episode as David and Tommy. She's barely in it, but she gives decent exhausted mom energy. Every other adult is from the same episode as Chuck and Candy. I mean, I can only imagine the direction Dottie was given was annoying spaz, but she nails it. Pim and Collins are the standouts of the episode. They're awesome. They're silly, campy, and have just a hint of something sinister lurking beneath. I think they're a major part of what makes me enjoy the episode.
We blush.
Megan, I'm pretty evenly split on this one. It's not a good scary story, but for sheer entertainment value, The Tale of the Gruesome Gourmets meets the approval of the Midnight Society. Barely. The Midnight Society members poll on this one was, at the time of recording this video, extremely close, with 47% approving it and 53% not approving it. So I'm being overruled, but you know what? I'm not even mad at it. On the polling, the people that enjoyed this episode liked it because of the camp, and the people that didn't because of the camp. So if you loved it or hated it for that reason, I get it either way.
I put a lot of thought into this.
Thank you to my patrons financially supporting the channel on Patreon. Jimmy Purcell, Rick Maxwell, Sean Hart, Jay Booth, Tony Ebers, Jessica Tim, EC, J.R. Green, Emilio Flores, AJN, and Andy Exiled. If you want early access to videos as well as bonus behind-the-scenes content, you can join my Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or you can join for free, but the dollar gets you the good stuff. Check it out at patreon.com/jackofallnerds.
I knew this was hopeless.
I want to thank the following Midnight Society members for participating in this video's polls.
Look what we have here. Somebody looks scrumptious.
Stop it, you're embarrassing me.
Come along, you simply must have a cup of my delicious sugar-free pineapple cider. It's to die for.
Well, if it's sugar-free, I'll give it a go. Names are on the screen. Bet you didn't see that twist coming. Told you I was hungry. What did you all think of Megan's story? Did you see it as a kid? How do you prefer your human cuts of meat? Fatty or lean? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check out the next episode on the Tale of the Hunted. Until then, are you afraid of the dark?
We have sizable appetites.
Well, thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and a share, you know. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon. We're notified when more of these videos go up. All right, I gotta go get the other hand. This one's out of the meats.